The same applies to your internal system. When toxins, stress, and waste are not released, they begin to weigh you down, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally too. This is why ancient masters gave equal, if not more, attention to cleansing than to feeding. Their daily rituals were designed not just to energize the body, but to purify it, to make space within, because only when the internal environment is clean can energy move freely. Cleansing does not always mean something dramatic. It can be subtle, rhythmic, and gentle. A warm cup of herbal tea in the morning to flush the system, a day of simple fasting every week to give the organs rest, gentle movement that massages the intestines. These small, consistent actions act like internal housekeeping. They remove the unnecessary. They allow the body to reset. Masters don't eat until full. They eat until nourished. They don't snack out of boredom. They don't eat late into the night. They follow the body's clock, not the cravings of the mind. Breath is also part of this cleanse. Deep belly breathing doesn't just calm the mind. It massages the organs, stimulates lymph flow, and pushes stale air from the lungs. It's the kind of inner detox no supplement can replace. And it's available at any moment. You just have to remember to use it. When you breathe with awareness, you are not only inhaling life, you are exhaling tension, fear, and toxins held deep inside. There are also practices passed down quietly through tradition, like abdominal tapping to awaken digestion, or sun gazing at dawn to align the body's energy systems. These sound strange to some, but they've endured not because of superstition, but because they work. The key is consistency. Cleansing is not a one-time event. It's a way of living that slowly removes the dust that settles in the body and the mind. Most people wait until they feel sick to think about detoxifying, but the wise do not wait. They prevent the buildup before it begins. They notice when their body feels heavy, when their thoughts feel foggy, and they take it as a signal not to medicate, but to clear. This is how they stay light, agile, and sharp, even after 70. It is not magic, it is discipline guided by deep understanding. When you remove what you no longer need, you return to your natural state, a body that flows, a mind that sees clearly, a spirit that feels light. Cleansing is not about punishment or denial. It is about respect for the temple you live in. And when the temple is clean, the energy inside it shines brighter with every passing year. There is a certain beauty in simplicity that most people overlook, especially when it comes to how we nourish ourselves. In a world where diets are complicated, where food has become science instead of sustenance, the way of the master remains clear, key. To stay healthy beyond 70, one must return to nature, not only in what is eaten, but in how it is eaten. Masters understand that eating is not just about filling the stomach. It is a sacred exchange between body and earth, a chance to realign with the natural rhythm that we so often abandon in modern living. Aging does not slow down the master's vitality because the body is not burdened with excess. There is no need for extreme control, no obsession over calories or macros. Instead, there is deep attention to balance. Food is seasonal. What grows in winter warms the body. What grows in summer cools it. There is no need to ask what to eat when you listen to what nature is offering at the time. This relationship between food and season is not based on superstition. It is based on deep observation. Over years of tuning into the body, a master can feel the impact of a single meal. Is the energy rising or falling? Is the digestion smooth or disturbed? These questions guide each choice more than any textbook ever could. Meals are taken in silence or in peace, not rushed, not distracted. There is no phone, no screen, no noise. Chewing slowly, breathing deeply, being present with each bite, this simple habit alone can transform digestion. Most people don't realize how much harm they cause themselves by eating in a state of stress. The body cannot digest properly when it is tense. The blood moves away from the stomach and into the muscles, preparing for action rather than assimilation. So even the healthiest meal loses its power when consumed in a hurried or anxious state. Masters also follow a principle of moderation. They stop before they are full. They eat to feel light, not heavy. This doesn't come from discipline alone. It comes from listening. Hunger and fullness are signals from the body, but most people can no longer hear them because they've been trained to override them. The mind says, or more, even when the body says enough. A master reverses this. The mind follows the body, not the other way around. Over time, this practice brings incredible lightness, not just physically, but emotionally. There is no guilt around food, no obsession, no conflict, only nourishment. Water is treated with equal reverence. It is not gulped unconsciously, but sipped with gratitude. A warm cup in the morning awakens the organs gently. Room temperature water throughout the day supports the body's internal fire. Iced drinks are avoided not because of any trend, but because they cool the digestive system and interrupt the flow. These habits are born of experience, passed through generations, tested not in laboratories, but in life. Fasting, too, plays a quiet but powerful role. It is not about starvation or control. It is about rest. Just as the body needs sleep, the organs need space to reset. Masters often eat within limited hours, allowing the body long periods of rest in between. This helps digestion, lowers inflammation, and keeps the mind sharp. It is not a rule. It is a rhythm, followed gently with flexibility and self-respect. Another layer often missed is the energetic quality of food. Not all food carries the same vibration. Fresh fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, these are alive. They carry life force. Highly processed, preserved, or artificial foods may fill the stomach, but they do not nourish the spirit. Masters choose foods that are close to the earth, minimally touched by machines. What they consume carries the energy of sun, soil, and time, not chemicals and factories. Even the preparation of food is a ritual. Cooking is not seen as a chore. It is a meditation, an offering. The act of washing rice, chopping vegetable, stirring a pot, all done with presence, charges the food with energy before it even touches the tongue. That energy enters the body and over time becomes who you are. So a master is not only careful about what goes on the plate, but also about the hands and heart that prepare it. This level of awareness transforms eating from a mechanical act into a daily opportunity to reconnect with life itself. It brings peace to the mind, strength to the body, and clarity to the soul. And that clarity is what makes it possible to walk into each new day, even past 70, with a sense of vitality that defies age. Because it was never about just eating. It was about remembering that food is life, and life, when treated with reverence, responds in kind. When people ask what keeps a master healthy beyond 70, they often expect an answer rooted in technique, some secret movement, a rare herb, or a unique dietary formula. But those are just tools. The real strength, the real source of long-lasting health, lies much deeper. It is not in the outer habits alone, but in the inner state. What truly keeps the master youthful is not what they do, it is how they live within. Stillness is not the absence of activity. It is the presence of calm even in the midst of movement. And it is in this stillness that real healing, real clarity, and real vitality arise. In today's world, people are constantly in motion, not just physically, but mentally. The mind races from one thought to the next, from one worry to another. Even when the body rests, the mind continues to work, replaying the past, predicting the future, reacting to things that haven't even happened. And in this endless noise, the body tightens, the breath shortens, and the spirit begins to weaken. But a master has trained to remain still inside, no matter how loud the world becomes. That stillness is not taught in schools. It is cultivated in silence, through attention, through presence. Each day there is a practice, not of doing more, but of doing less with more awareness, sitting quietly, closing the eyes, listening to the breath, not controlling anything, just observing. In the beginning, the mind resists, thoughts come like a storm, but with patience, the storm passes. Underneath it is a space that is quiet, spacious, and deeply nourishing. In this space, the nervous system relaxes, the heart rate slows, and the body begins to recover, not just from physical fatigue, but from the invisible stress that accumulates over years. This inner stillness is not a luxury. It is a necessity, especially as we age. The world will not slow down for anyone. But we can slow ourselves down, and in that slowness we find strength. A master wakes early, not just to exercise, but to sit. Before the sun rises, before the noise of the day begins, there is a window. A sacred time when the body is still fresh and the mind has not yet been cluttered by outside voices. This is when clarity is cultivated, not through effort, but through stillness. Most illnesses do not come from what we eat or how we move. They come from unresolved stress, from buried emotions, from an unsettled mind. Stillness Stillness allows us to see these inner movements before they become outer symptoms. A tight chest, an anxious breath, a restless thought. These are signs. If noticed early, they can be released before they take root. A master pays attention to these signs not out of fear, but out of wisdom. Stillness teaches that not every feeling needs a reaction, not every thought needs a response. This is where longevity begins, not in controlling life, but in not being controlled by it. Even in the company of others, the stillness remains. Words are chosen with care, actions done with purpose. There is no rush to speak, no need to prove. This quiet confidence does not come from pride, it comes from peace. And peace is the most powerful medicine of all. When the heart is peaceful, the body follows, blood flows freely. Muscles soften, digestion improves, sleep deepens. Every function of the body benefits when the mind is at rest. But stillness is not something that happens once and stays forever. It must be visited daily, like a sacred place within. Sometimes it's found through breath, sometimes through movement, sometimes through reflection. What matters is not the method, but the return, to return again and again to that quiet place, even when the world pulls you away. That return is the practice, that return is the path. This stillness over time becomes strength, not the kind of strength that lifts heavy weights or wins battles, but the strength to remain calm when others panic, to stay grounded when others lose their way. It is the strength to age without fear, to live with presence, and to die without regrets. That is the kind of strength that cannot be bought, only built slowly, patiently, through a lifetime of presence. Because in the end, it is not about how fast you move, how much you achieve, or how loud you speak. It is about how still you can remain when everything else is moving. That stillness, unshakable, silent and full of life, is what keeps the master healthy even as the years pass by.